All right, we're gonna do the light wand live today, and my cat's in here causing all kinds of trouble. So I think last time when I put the mic on, the sound was actually worse on live. So we're just not gonna do the mic today. I have a cold or something. My throat's been kind of hurting for the past few days. You want to light, Baba? What's that? What's that? So let's see how the light wand can show what's actually going on in the body that needs support, how it can support it instantly. And then we'll just talk all things light wand. So I didn't create this, I don't sell it, but I am in the process of getting an affiliate link for it. I don't have that yet. However, if you want it, you can comment 70, the number 70 or the word 70, and I'll send you the link to buy this. And then also, it's actually, the link to buy it is only if you, only available if you buy the instructions that I've created to go along with it. Otherwise, you're not going to know what to do with the wand. But I do give you a 30% off discount code, and it's actually like really, really affordable compared to like the value that you're getting. So let me just show you what I do with this wand. So if you've been around for a long time, then you know I do a lot of like body-based things. So I test for what needs to be supported and corrected within the body with advanced self muscle testing. And I'm usually just using my own body to do that. So hand, over the organs, or touching like certain, pressure points, that kind of thing. And then a lot of times I'll teach you how to do the correction with the body as well. So without like, having to buy anything else. And you can do that. It's like, it's pretty effective for most things. But the light wand does a little something extra, especially when we're talking about interference fields. Interference fields are basically like scar tissue anywhere in the body that you like incurred at the same time as you were going through something emotionally traumatic. You guys let me know in the comments, how does this sound come through right now? Because I could put my mic on, but I feel like last time it made the mic worse. Also, let me know in the comments, do you know what an interference field is? Have you heard about interference fields? Because we can do like a little quick short background lesson on interference fields. This is the most important work that we do. The most important work that you will learn. Okay, sounds good. Let me grab one of my textbooks on interference fields, and I can just give you guys a little like, I can give it to you in my own words, but I think it might be fun to like pull it out of a textbook. Say hi to Baba. This is my Baba. Okay. All right. So these are a couple of my favorite textbooks on interference fields. I believe, I think if you comment the word pivotal, like PIVOTAL, you'll get a free ebook that I wrote that has links to these at the end of it. You can buy these on Amazon if you want like a more like professional like style education. And then there's also links to 2 free ebooks in there that give you some foundational information that's, I think, important to help you understand interference fields. Like just how the nervous system works in this way. Hi, Baba. Hey. We're cat ladies over here. And Pivotal also, like if you comment that and you get the ebook, I see people commenting it now. If you comment that and get the ebook, hopefully that automation's working right now. It will also have a background on just interference fields in general. And then I think I have 4 different ways listed for how you can address interference fields. The light wand is new. So that happened. I rediscovered this light wand that I had in my closet for like 7 years. I rediscovered that probably a whole year after I wrote this interference field resource. So I'm going to explain the light wand, but you can get all of the other resources by commenting Pivotal. So we have the textbook and atlas of neural therapy. And then we have neural therapy, applied neurophysiology and other topics. This one's a little bit more palatable because it talks about how you can use muscle testing to identify interference fields. This one's a little bit more technical because it has a bunch of like maps of like the efferent and afferent like nervous system and like where you would inject neural therapy. So the light wand is essentially needleless neural therapy. Neural therapy is kind of like the standard of care for interference fields. And again, interference fields are places of scar tissue that also hold emotional trauma. It's like when you get an injury at the same time that you're going through something emotionally difficult, it forms an interference field. And everybody has these. You're going to have multiple of them. And the big deal about interference fields is that this short circuits the nervous system. And it basically will affect a distal part of the body. So is it like a block to the body, like my C-section? Yes, that's exactly what it is. So you might get a C-section scar and then discover that you have, you know, some other like chronic symptom pop up somewhere else in the body, and it gets worse over the course of, you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, and nothing you do works. And that's because interference fields prevent uptake to certain parts of the body through the efferent and afferent pathways within the nervous system. So you're doing all of these things, taking all these like, you know, miracle pills and whatever that work for other people, and they should work for you, but they don't. And that's because you have an interference field. It's getting into your body, but it's not getting into the tissue that actually needs it, because that's where the block is. And that's why you have the symptom in the first place, because there's a block. Your brain isn't connecting to that part of the body accurately anymore, so it can't send the information to that part of the body to heal it. Information meaning like chemicals, endogenous or exogenous. Yes, makes sense for sure. It does, right? It's like the little known, like best kept secret of like chronic illness, basically. So I address it in pretty much everything that I do. I address it with all my one-on-one clients. If you book a call with me, I posted the link in my stories. If you book a call with me for esoteric herbs, that is one way of addressing interference fields, but we can also test for interference fields with self-muscle testing and clear them with a process I call release stuck trauma. It's different than Mirror Magic, but you can also clear them with Mirror Magic. Today, I'm going to show you how to clear them with the light wand. So neural therapy is, you know, the medical standard on how to clear an interference field. And this works really well for like scar tissue that's on the surface of the body, or if it's an organ that has tissue damage and you can inject into like an acupuncture point. Like here you can see different ganglia. So topography of the orbit and the needle position. This is injection to the ciliary ganglion. So this is like right under the eye, essentially. I'll just give you this example. So this is what you would do with a needle and Procaine to heal an interference field. So indications. The indications given are only a sample of those possible. Chronic and acute glaucoma, macular degeneration, moist or dry, all forms of inflammation of the eye vessels, and nerves supplying the eye injuries, without indication for surgery, post-traumatic eye symptoms, also surgery related, and the eye is an interference field itself, which you would discover through muscle testing. That's basically the only way that you can really discover if something is an interference field is either through muscle testing or through treating it as an interference field. So Teeth are like the number one interference field, like from having dental work or dental infections, either one. And you can identify whether or not a tooth is an interference field by, like, if you go to have it worked on and you get like a Procaine or lidocaine or whatever injection, and then within 2 weeks after the fact, you start feeling better in other ways, like other symptoms like start to lift, and then they return after 2 weeks. You got a dose of neural therapy and it worked, and now you have to keep going back until it's resolved. So typically neural therapy would be a Procaine injection into the actual, scar tissue or injury site every, few weeks, maybe 6 total, basically. And you have to find someone who knows how to do this. It's kind of like nerve block for migraines, except I don't believe nerve block is done in maybe the exact frequency and dose or even location that you would use neural therapy, but it is effective because it is kind of the same like principle. So that's just kind of like an example. Let me read something from here. Interference field therapy. For interference field therapy, a definite indication of the interference field is necessary. So you have to identify it. That's like the biggest problem with interference fields is that you have to have a way to identify it. That's why we use advanced self-muscle testing. And also none of us are over here like injecting people with anything. That's just not what we do. So the therapy consists of simply the continuation of the same injections that were previously used for interference field diagnostics. So again, what they're referring to with interference field diagnostics is you give them the therapy and see if there's an improvement, essentially. Basic principles for interference field diagnostics and therapy are: every chronic illness can be induced and supported by an interference field. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. This is a textbook that was originally written in German. It was only recently translated to English, and that's why people in the US don't know about this. But this textbook is literally telling you, this is like a textbook publisher, is literally telling you every chronic illness can be induced and supported by an interference field. AKA, you need to be, if you're a practitioner, you need to be doing this with your clients. If you are a chronic illness girly, you need to be doing this on yourself, not injecting yourself with Procaine, but addressing interference fields. And that's why, again, I do it with every single client. Our certified practitioners, they do it with every single client. This is a part of our one-off appointments, and it's a part of our, my mind is blanking because of this cold, but it's like a part of our long-term clients or our one-off client calls. Like either way, if you get certified in discernment framework, you will be doing this with your clients. What book is this? Textbook and Atlas of Neural Therapy, Diagnosis and Therapy with Local Anesthetics by Hans Barope. And I got this off Amazon. If you comment Pivotal, you'll get an older ebook that I wrote about interference fields and a few different ways that you can address them. And at the end of it, there's a link to this book on Amazon. There's also a link to this book on Amazon. And then there's 2 links to free books that are a lot of really good information, not written by me, written by someone else, but a lot of really good information about the electrical circuitry of the nervous system that helps you understand how interference fields work and which parts of the body are connected to other parts of the body through afferent and efferent pathways. Because if you have an interference field in your eye, you might have kidney problems, or that's a really reductionist view, but that's one example. So if you have, I'll give you one of my examples. Prosthetic dentistry in the upper jaw is notorious for causing implants. So whether you had like a crown or did I just say causes implants? Causes interference fields. And it's the sphenopalatine ganglia is the location of the interference field. So like me, I had congenitally missing teeth. So I had 4 implants. The 2 on the bottom didn't cause interference fields, but the 2 on the top did. And this led to migraines and all kinds of chronic illness. Any illness or injury can leave behind an interference field. This particularly applies to long-lasting illnesses or injuries with complicated progression. So the harder it is to heal the injury. Me too, had baby teeth. Yes, same. No, I had dental implants. Yes, yeah, exactly. So dental implants are notorious for causing interference fields, but you can clear them, and I'll show you how I'm clearing mine with this wand. It's ridiculously easy. I cleared it once, had the implant removed, and then replaced with a ceramic one, and I'm in the process of clearing it again. Every illness induced by an interference field. So this is when you have an interference field, and then years later, chronic illness symptoms develop in other parts of the body. What about ocular melanoma? Potentially, I didn't read that in this example, so I can't really speak to it, but you could muscle test it and see if it's correlated to an interference field. That's what we do. We muscle test it to see if it's correlated to an interference field. Every illness induced by an interference field can only be healed through the elimination of the interference field. Case closed, okay? So if you have had chronic illness symptoms for a long time, you've tried everything under the sun. Hello, Alicia, how are you? You've tried everything under the sun. It's not working. That's because it can only be undone by undoing the interference field. Okay. The identification of the interference field is only possible by way of the second phenomenon, which is you give it the treatment and see if it heals. That's according to the textbook. What we know is that muscle testing, if you use an advanced form of muscle testing, can also tell you if you have an interference field and where it is, basically. Okay, so I think that's enough from this book, maybe enough from both books. Let me just give you a demo. If you like this, if you like me coming on here and reading these textbooks about interference fields, let me know. We can just have a book club, okay? I heard a bladder infection can be caused by dental issues like bacterial infection. Is that true? Yeah, I mean, yes. Yes, dental infections can cause infections in all other parts of the body. Yeah, yes. I mean, I don't know specifically about the bladder. You'd have to muscle test a correlation, but yeah, bacteria travels. I mean, it might be stuck in the bone, not like receiving oxygen or blood, but bone is not innervated. It doesn't receive oxygen. It doesn't receive blood. And that's kind of where these infections come from in the jaw. But if it's a tooth infection, that could be a little bit of a different story. But if it's like a cavitation in the bone, it's more kind of the other way around. And then like if you have an infection in the body at the time that you have an injury to the dental bone, or, you know, like an injury, like it's opened up for some type of like root canal or surgery or something like that. Like root canals, especially, you can get the bacteria growing in the tooth or in the jaw. And it can also be in other parts of the body simultaneously. So let me show you how I identify and address interference fields for the most part. Now there's a lot of different ways you can do this, and some work better than others for different things. I like using the esoteric herbs for certain kinds of interference fields, more of the like psychological interference fields that like make you feel stuck, things that are related to like, you know, cranial nerves, or the pituitary. If it's an actual scar, maybe needling it, like having it needled by an acupuncturist, might be the best way to address it, but it's not like a one and done kind of thing usually. Release duct trauma. This is a good one because it shows you where the uptake issue is, which is really, really cool. So you actually take a diluted like herb or something, you get like a cup of water, and then you put like a little tiny bit of an herb in there, something that you've already taken, maybe like 30 minutes prior. And then you scan the body with advanced self-muscle testing, holding that dilution to see where you get the backward sway. And wherever you get the backward sway, that herb didn't get into those tissues. There was no uptake there. So if you're holding this dilution over your forehead and you get a backward sway, there's a part of your brain that's not receiving the oxygen, nutrients, and therapies that you're putting into your body. And this is where the illness is going to develop. Now, what you do after that is you make a list of all of your scars and injuries and chronic infections, and you correlate with muscle testing between this backward sway here with the dilution and, let's say, an ear piercing. So it would look like, okay, dilution gives you the backward sway. This piercing, still a backward sway, no correlation. But this piercing on the right side all of a sudden reverses the sway. There's the correlation. Your ear piercing is giving you brain fog or whatever, So that's what I teach in Release Stuck Trauma. And again, if you comment Pivotal, you'll get the ebook with all of these links for the books in there, but then also examples of different things you can do to heal interference fields, including my course, Release Stuck Trauma. But again, I'm going to show you the light wand because this is probably my overall favorite way to heal an interference field. So the interference field setting, as far as what I've figured out, this is not how they sell this wand. This is just me and my research and development brain, is the flashing, the strobe setting. This is about a 40 hertz pulse frequency. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 beats per second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a pulse frequency that reconnects things within the nervous system. If you want to calm the nervous system, you maybe want to do a 10 hertz pulse frequency. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we tap, a lot of the times our tapping is 10 hertz pulse frequency. It's not EFT. When we tap the heart, however, to reestablish coherence, I like a 40 hertz pulse frequency. That one muscle tests better for most people, not everyone. But the 40 hertz pulse frequency has been shown in my own experience to identify an interference field and heal the interference field. It does take a number of weeks. You do it multiple times a day, but each time you do it, it's like maybe 10 seconds. So let me just show you how I scan the body with this. And I teach this inside of a course. If you comment the number 70 or the word 70, either way, you'll get the link to the course, which will also give you the link to buy the wand. The course is on sale for 30% off. That makes it maybe $100, $150, and you get like 5 lessons. The link to the wand, I think the wand here that I'm using is like $200. So this will be the best money you ever spend. Honestly, I made it so cheap because this is the best money you will ever spend. Everybody needs this. Everyone needs to know how to do this. You can do it on your kids. You can do it on your husband. You can do it on your pets. Like, you can solve the world's problems with this wand, okay? I need to do the 10 hertz at the moment in my healing journey. I remember that. I remember us muscle testing that. Otherwise, my nervous system loses the plot. Yes, we found that in muscle testing. Yes, I had a client who was doing from block to breakthrough, which is more of like the reconnection, like style of nervous system modulation or nervous system restructuring. This is for people who feel stuck, procrastinating, brain foggy. This is in From Block to Breakthrough. And I think if you comment breakthrough, you get the link to that. But it teaches 40 hertz, pulse on the thymus and 10 hertz on other points. And I had a call with this client, Laura, and she was like, I think the 40 hertz is giving me some sort of reaction. We muscle tested it, and sure enough, it was. And I'll show you how we muscle tested it just for fun. I think we maybe thought about the 40 hertz pulse tapping to get the first sway. That was, I guess, a backwards. And then we did, or maybe this is what she did. I had her think about the symptoms that she got from the 40 hertz tapping. That was a backward sway. Then we correlated, okay, is it the 40 hertz tapping? That reversed the sway. And then we correlated the vagal ganglia point and it reversed the sway again. So we knew the reaction she was having was adverse. It gave us a stress response, gave her a stress response. But I was proxy testing her because her cat was on her lap and I didn't want her cat to have to move. So I got the backward sway for the symptoms. So it was a stress response. Then the forward sway was the correlation to the tapping. And then the next backward sway, so reversed it again, backwards, reversed it, then reversed it again. So this establishes these 3 data points are all correlated, was the vagal ganglia, which showed us there was an adverse reaction. So just to be sure. So then we switched her to 10 hertz. That was it. Yes, I thought about the symptoms exactly. Okay, good. Yeah, that's how we did it. Okay, so I go to the 40 hertz frequency and I scan the body, things where I think I could have an injury, like a chronic type of injury. My jaw, the front, top, bottom, front, left, like everything. I also do different cranial nerves, ganglion as well. I do the heart, I do every single organ, every single scar that I can think of. And that's to identify it. I will get a forward sway if this is what is going to reverse it, which is the quote unquote treatment. This is not medical advice. And then I do the quote unquote treatment. This is not medical advice until I get a backward sway and then a forward again. I know this is really complicated. It's not meant to be instructional. It's more like awareness. If you want to learn how to do this again, comment 70 the number or 70 the word, and you get both the course and the link to the light wand. It's 5 lessons. They're probably like 10 to 20 minutes a piece. And it shows you more than just interference fields. It shows you how to do a lot of different things with this wand. Vagal ganglia tone, clearing any pathology in any organ. It does take like multiple sessions. My sister just got Bell's palsy. Any thoughts? Typically a virus, from my experience, in a cranial nerve. I have really good luck with the esoteric herbs for Bell's palsy, and I've had clients have really good luck with esoteric herbs for Bell's palsy. The EBV herbs have a really good resonance for Bell's palsy. I don't know if I have a keyword to book an appointment to get the esoteric herbs, but I did post a link in my stories today. Okay, so here's our 40 hertz pulse frequency. I'm going to test the pituitary. I always get a forward, so there's an interference field here from the Curse 19, the 2020 Curse 19. It gives you an interference field in your pituitary. So most people will have one here, and it's important to fix that for lots of reasons. Okay, so I like to do both sides, just for whatever. So let's go to the sphenopalatine ganglia. This is the ganglion that will have an interference field if you had prosthetic dentistry in the upper jaw, like implants or root canals or something like that. So I just had a new implant put in on both sides up here, and my interference field came back from the physical trauma of having it placed. But it's already healed on the left side. It actually gave me an interference field on both sides. The left side's already healed. So let's do the sinuses. What if you had chronic sinus infections growing up? No, not for me. Let's see if there's something just like in one of the teeth. Right side, no. Front, no. No. Let's try, I forget this ganglia down here, but this ganglion down here is like lower jaw dentistry. Could cause an interference field here. No interference field. No. So I have lower implants, but they did not cause an interference field. It's the upper jaw is much more sensitive to that. I'm so hot. Let's try the tonsils. A lot of people have chronic like tonsil infections. Not the right, not the left. I've had questions before about like, what if your issue is the eyes? You're going to find an interference field somewhere else in the body, not the eye itself. You may have an interference field in the eye, but it will be causing symptoms somewhere else. Okay. Let's try the thyroid. No, it's not an interference field for me. The right lung, the left lung, the heart. I already cleared the one in my heart, slash thymus, or could be lung. There's a lot of things right here, but it's already been cleared. Okay, so let's try liver. Nope. Gallbladder. Nope. Let's try spleen. No. Pancreas. No. Let's try stomach. Nope. Small intestine. Nope. Large intestine. No. Pelvic floor. No. Okay, so here's where it gets more technical. There are neural therapy points, okay? So let's try the kidneys. Nope. And then left kidney. Nope. It's hard to differentiate between the kidneys and the adrenals. So we go to the neural therapy point. I'm out of shape, but whatever. We'll go to the neural therapy point, which is up, I believe, 4 centimeters, over 4 centimeters, up 4 centimeters, and then over 4, somewhere around in here. Yeah, I have an interference field in my adrenals. So I've been working on this for a few weeks. And I can tell that it's healing because I won't always get a yes. Whereas in the beginning, you get a yes every single time. And then the tailbone for oxytocin resistance. This is a good sort of like a neural therapy point to see if you have oxytocin resistance. What I've been talking about a lot lately for the chronic illness girlies who, you know, have had bad relationships their whole lives. The relationships made them sicker. They tend to date narcissists, people with bipolar. Check this one, okay? This is the tailbone one. And I've healed it, but I did have this. If you have an interference field there, it's going to make it nearly impossible to actually heal your oxytocin pathway. So you'll never have a sense of safety within your body, and you will always be susceptible to chronic illness. Even if you correct your copper to zinc ratio, it's not going to give you lasting progress because you have to correct the interference fields from the parts of the nervous system that innervate the organs where the majority of oxytocin receptors are located. What else? What else is an interference field? Let's do ear piercings. No, that one's fine. The right one has been an issue in the past, and I think I cleared it, but let's see. I did. I cleared the right one with release stuck trauma, which if you comment pivotal, you get the ebook where I talk about release stuck trauma and some other things that you can do. So I cleared this right one with release stuck trauma. I also cleared the thyroid with release stuck trauma. I used to always roll my ankle, and I did find that this was an interference field lately. So let's go to the left ankle, and it's still like kind of swollen and like, I haven't, knock on wood, man, I haven't rolled it in a while, but I have Ehlers-Danlos, and my whole life, this left ankle has been like a little bit like puffier than the right because of, you know, chronically injuring it. So I'll just kind of like flash the light down there. Sure enough, we have an interference field in that left ankle. And this, somebody told me, this Reiki person told me that like in Reiki, this is like the reproductive system. So interesting, right? Or maybe it was like reflexology. Can living with a narcissist be a real problem for someone? Yes. yes. That will make you sick and keep you sick 100%. Someone says, me too, for living with a narcissist. I'm so sorry, guys. That's like hell on earth. It does a lot. It does a lot to your system. One of my colleagues and friends, Aaron, his handle's like redox stasis. He does mineral balancing, and he was telling me that like as certain mineral levels start to change, they'll see like women leave their abusive husbands. It's almost like having these like issues like within our like physical biochemical like mineral pathways make us susceptible to this kind of abuse because it makes us more tolerant, more agreeable. And when you start to heal this stuff, you get less tolerant and less agreeable. It's kind of a miracle, honestly. I was married to one and got cancer. I'm so sorry. That's awful. But I mean, it's not surprising. It's awful, but it's not surprising. I'm so sorry. I've had a lot of dental work. Yes, girl, you got some interference fields. I can almost guarantee, because I've had a lot of dental work too. And that's part of how I got into this work, was really the foundational starting point of my chronic illness was having these implants from the congenitally missing teeth. I've never had bad teeth. I just had missing adult teeth. And the implants caused interference fields and chronic infection within the jaw, and then everything went downhill from there. I mean, I was kind of just born into like weird symptoms and sensitivities, but I can say like definitively the dental work, if you don't know how to support it and you don't know what kind of dentist to go to, the dental work that you're getting, especially within the US, is probably gonna make you sick. That sucks, and there's ways to like mitigate that risk. Again, like supporting interference fields and going to a biological dentist and using ozone and like these types of things. But you have to be really savvy when it comes to dental work. I have actually a course. It was like a 3-hour workshop on the rootiest root cause is what I called it. And it's like everything like dental work related that you can like uncover as like a root cause problem, and then also figure out your best way forward to fix it using advanced self muscle testing. I have no idea what the keyword for that is. So if you want that, just send me a DM and I'll find the link for you. I'm going to go in just a second, but this has been so much fun. What minerals, where can I get help? I mean, for me, I balance copper to zinc ratio in a different way than mineral balancing people do, because I'm focused only on the oxytocin pathway and like restoring those receptors. So that's important. But I think I also touch on sodium, potassium balancing maybe a little bit with like electrolytes. So the neuroendocrine reset is where I'm going to be doing that with a group of women, 10 women for the next 6 months. And I just made a keyword for this, and of course I can't remember it. Oh my gosh. I literally can't remember it. Just send me a DM. We'll find out if that's right for you. I can also connect you with Aaron, who does like HTMA, where he like tests the minerals in your hair. I think he was saying it's the sodium potassium ratio specifically, where he sees like women kind of regain their agency in that way. Does that type of flashlight work for everyone's legs to be equally right? I don't know. I'm not sure what you're asking. This is not muscle testing in the sense of like functionally, how do your muscles perform? So I don't know if that is maybe what you're asking. Oh, hey. Yes. Love the rootiest root cause. Yes. That was like some of my best work ever. I forgot what the name of the flashlight is. I did not give you the name because the link is within the course on how to use it. This thing is very high powered. It has quantum energy. And in my opinion, if you want to get the wand, you need to know how to use it. So if you comment the number 70 or the word 70, you'll receive that information. It's very digestible. It's like 5 lessons. It's all video demonstration. They're like maybe 5 to 20 minutes long. And it'll show you multiple different kinds of things you can do with the light, not just interference fields. And then it has the link to the light itself. They ship all over the world. I think they just got their stock renewed. They had run out of stock from the last time I talked about the wand. The wand is very popular. That's the other reason I don't just post the link itself, because if you buy the course to learn how to use the wand, but then they're out of stock because people bought the wand without knowing even how to use it, like that I feel like that's a little bit backwards. So they can probably increase the amount of stock they get on a regular basis if this continues to be something that people want to learn about. So that's like the coolest thing ever. That will heal these interference fields that we just identified. And I could keep going. I have more scars, you know. I could keep going, but that's good enough for now. I have to go. I have other things I need to do. But this was so much fun. Let me know in the comments if you want to like start a book club where I just come on live and like read some of these like little known secrets that maybe have only been recently translated to English, or were in a published paper that was behind a paywall that was, you know, hard to find. Obviously, like I can't do that. That's not like technically okay, but I can summarize, you know, what was in there, you know, reference it, that kind of thing. Post the link if you want to, you know, buy it behind its respective paywall. But okay. Danielle says, yes, please. I love a good journal club. I haven't been a part of a journal club in probably 10 years. Almost 10, longer than 10 years. Yeah. So, oh, definitely yes. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's do a journal club. I think I'm going to move my lives over to Discernment Framework Instagram, discernment.framework, because we're about to launch the certification program finally. And some of this stuff is better suited for over there, like the muscle testing supplements and like talking about, you know, how to do these things on your clients. And I'll probably keep my personal page more like Mirror Magic, oxytocin resistance, like specifically related. So exciting. Yes, yes. Okay, cool. So don't forget to follow discernment.framework if you like these lives, especially where I'm like muscle testing things, because I'm going to be sort of alternating between the two. And if you want to get certified in this type of muscle testing, keep an eye out for the Discernment Framework certification. I think we're going to do a free training. It looks like maybe December 1st or 2nd. And then we'll also give you information on that free training about how to join the certification. And we have something really, really cool that we're going to give away for free as a gift. If you come to that free training and stay for the whole thing, it's probably going to be like an hour or two free training. Specifically, if you're a practitioner and you want to use this muscle testing as like clinical intuition to get your clients like just undeniable results, like within 18 days, like undeniable results where they're volunteering their mind-blowing testimonials that work as social proof for you so that you can market less and get more clients' results and be less burnout, because you can actually charge, you know, for what you're doing. Like that's what we're going to be talking about on the live training. But then at the end, you're going to get a really insane resource that is a paid resource, and we're going to give it to you for free just for partying with us on the free training. Okay, so that's it. I hope you guys have a great Saturday. Love you, mean it.